Hello, guys. We're back for yet another episode of the live stream. So, we're going to look at further reactions of Americans on the SNAP benefits. We talked about it yesterday. It seemed to be a very strong conversation that resonated with a number of us. So, we're going to go back to having that conversation. We will look at Americans talking about the SNAP benefits and how they feel about people who are taking advantage of the SNAP benefits. We're also going to be looking at the reaction of Congress. Congress is accusing the Trump administration of withholding funds. And the way they put it, it looks like the Republican Party is being mean to the American people. We're going to explore that, and then you let me know your thoughts on that accusation. We will be looking at some of the threats that have been coming through on, from people who live by SNAP benefits. And I need you to tell me if what they're saying is valid, because it sounds like they are threatening to commit crimes, and they expect the rest of us to understand because SNAP benefits have been cut off, therefore they have to go commit crimes. It's like someone saying, I was just laid off from work, therefore I will go commit this crime or that crime. So let me know what you think of those scenarios, because it just doesn't make sense to me. All right, meanwhile, if you're new here and you like what you're hearing and what you see, please consider liking the video. If possible, subscribe. And if you can, support us with a super chat or join the membership of the channel. It helps out a whole lot. And, we do hope that you enjoy the show. And the big thing about what we do here is that the show, again, is guided, or let me say driven, by your comments and your chat. So post your thoughts in the chat so that we can respond while the stream is on. So we're going to open up the show with the thoughts that many Americans, or several Americans that have made videos, have about the meltdown, the absolute meltdown that is happening from the recipients of these SNAP benefits that has been circulating online. So let's hear what they have to say, and then give your thoughts in the chat.
2 million people losing their SNAP benefits come November 1st. And then when I look at the numbers of the amount of people and where they're from, I'm gonna say this is a much needed process, bruh. Because you're telling me of the 42 million people, only like 30% of that 42 million are actually Americans? And I mean 30% of the 42 million are actually Americans who were born here, who are disabled, who are veterans, who are actually people who literally and actually need this assistance. Because if I'm looking at this report that says 51% of the total number of people that are receiving these SNAP benefits are purely because of their religious beliefs, meaning these people are Muslims or from the Islamic religion, Islamic countries. They're from Pakistan, Afghanistan, Somalia, these places. And they're receiving these benefits purely because, for one, their women aren't allowed to work. Their women are allowed to have multiple children. They are 100% supposed to be home to cherish and nurture their children. Their husbands are allowed to have multiple wives, and with those multiple wives having multiple children, meaning they're getting multiple thousands of dollars per month. And if you think about it, it makes total sense why the Americans that are getting the pocket change, who are not having kids, and even if they're having kids, they got like 2-3 kids, and then their 2-3 kids are disabled, right? And then they're the ones making all the noise because they're getting pocket change when these people from the Islamic countries are getting thousands and thousands of dollars, and they're in a household with 3 other women that are filing for these benefits as head of the household. So in the one house, there are 4 wives getting like 4 or 5 grand a pop because they have like 4 or 5 kids a pop, right? And their husbands are just going out to these meetings trying to convert more people. But at the end of the day, they're getting like $15,000-$20,000 a month for the one household. And who knows how many bank accounts they have. No.
So he's coming at this conversation from a cultural and a religious standpoint. We did play a video several days ago where the anchor was breaking down the demographic of, not necessarily the demographic, but the origins or the nationalities of recipients of these benefits. And one of the things that he pointed out is that a large percentage of it was going to people who were essentially migrants. Now, the Democrats have repeatedly said that none of these benefits go to migrants, that it goes to American citizens. But the data shows that they are lying. And this young man here is breaking down his thoughts on that data and the fact that a large percentage of these recipients come from Islamic countries who come into the country, have multiple children. And look, you can't argue with data. Okay, data is not racist. When you look at the numbers and you count, you can see that what he's saying does have some merit. And then when you do examine what's going on in other countries in Europe, and you see how Europe is essentially being overrun by people of the Islamic faith, it does give you something to think about. Now, before you jump into the chat and into the comment section and begin to scream how he's Islamophobic and how I am giving him a platform to spread his hate, dude, look at the numbers. Take a look at the numbers, and with what a lot of us know of the Islamic religion, what he's saying does add up. Should American taxpayers be levied in order to sponsor a religion that essentially, look, whatever you think, it is foreign to North America. Islam is foreign to North America. North America wasn't founded on the Islamic faith. It wasn't founded on the Buddhist faith. It wasn't founded on the Krishna faith or any other faith. Any other faith out there isn't the core of the American origin story. The American origin story is firmly rooted in Christian values. And so when you have these cultures coming in based on the hospitality of the American people, and then they take advantage of these benefits that are originally meant to be for the American citizens, and they widely outnumber the American citizens' use of those benefits. American citizens, at least the Caucasian citizens, tend to not have more than 2 kids on average, which is below replacement levels. The Negro race, the black race, tend to have a culture where the women have multiple. There's going to be a video. I'm going to play a video here. All right. And it's going to confirm that story. All right. This lady here has multiple children. She has about 7 kids. Let's listen to that and I'll complete my thought.
Okay, you guys, yes. I am a mother of 7 kids. 7 kids. I had my first child at 14 years old. Yes, I had my first child at 14 years old. I do not regret it. He is well, healthy, and he's 19 right now. God, praise God. Yes, you guys, I have 7 kids, 7 different baby daddies. Yeah, 7 different baby daddies. I heard it. You heard it right here. 7 different baby daddies, 7 kids. Had my first child at age 14. Yes, and I do receive $3,000 in EBT food stamps. Yes. We are so happy. We are so blessed. We are very thankful. Yes, we are happy where we're at in life right now. We are happy. Yes, we are happy. Yes, yes, yes. Like I said, it's gonna be haters, people gonna be jealous and all that. Y'all can keep y'all little comments, but at the end of the day, my kids are taken care of. All
right, so
okay, you guys.
Here's the caption at the top of the screen. Point of view: getting $3,000 in EBT, and I have 7 kids. All right, so this is the picture of the African American single mother who started having children at 14, and there have been stories covered online where there are households with grandparents, parents, and the lady themselves essentially intentionally going out there to have kids in order to get these benefits. They don't want men in the home. They simply want the kids are a means to an end. And then when they have daughters, the daughters repeat the cycle. So there are generations of women who live this way, according to certain reports. Now, yesterday we had a conversation where there was some pushback, and the pushback generally revolved around the idea that these benefits were designed as public policy to serve a certain group, minorities, starting with the Native Americans or the Red Indian. Well, they call them the Red Indians in the past, which some people don't call them anymore. But the Native Americans were put on these benefits. And then there's also the welfare situation, which essentially has been taken advantage of by the Negro community. And so now we have an evolution of this process where now we have migrants taking overwhelming advantage of these benefits. And then we have a president that steps in to say there's something wrong with this picture. We're spending too much. We're over $30 trillion in debt. I mean, wrap your head around it. Over $30 trillion in debt. And we need to take care of the waste, fraud, and the abuse. But you have Democrats, both Democrat leadership and Democrat voters or far left voters, attacking the administration for wanting to save the American economy. We need to have a holistic look at this situation. Okay, trying to put politics aside. Let's try really hard to put politics aside. If this was your budget, if this was your personal bank account, would you run your account this way? Would you give money to people who decided that they were never going to improve their lives? They were never going to do anything productive or constructive with their lives. They were going to sit back and receive money from you. In their minds, it is your responsibility to feed them, and to hell with anyone who says otherwise, including you. We need to think this way. I've said several times, in my videos, that the country is an extension of the individual. If the individual would handle his borders, the borders to his home, one way, he shouldn't expect the country to do the opposite. For everyone who's up in arms screaming that no one is illegal, you should let the whole world into your country. Why do you have a door to your home? Why do you have a security system to keep people out of your home? It makes no sense that you would think that the country should have no borders. But you see, these arguments tend to be utilitarian. They're like, it's a tool for power. I want power, so I will make these arguments and use the morality of my opponent against them. You're saying that we should have borders. You're not compassionate. Where is the love? Where is the compassion? They try to use the compassion and the soft conscience of conservatives or people who believe in common sense against them when they make these stupid arguments. And I'll say that they are stupid arguments. All right. So think about it. Why is it that it makes sense to some people to hand billions of dollars to a group of people who for generations have decided that they're going to be a burden? That's essentially what they have decided to be. Yesterday, if you're meeting me for the first time, go back to yesterday's live stream. I hope you do, and then you hear my story. I did benefit from a food bank for a short while, and once I got a job, I didn't go back. So it's not about pointing fingers and hating people who receive these benefits. It's not. It's really about, okay, does this make sense? Does this group of people demanding certain privileges make sense? We're going to listen to this lady here, okay? I played a video of hers a while back, all right? I'm not a big fan of nose rings. She has a nose ring. I'm looking past it and I'm listening to what she's saying to people who are waiting on the government to, continue to fund their lifestyles, because that's essentially what they are trying to do. They want a certain lifestyle, and the government has made it possible for them to continue to exist in that way. So let's listen to her.
He's threatening us, talking about if they get rid of the SNAP, but I'm going to start stealing. Ain't that what you been doing? You been stealing, huh? You been stealing. We're not gonna talk about every time I turn around and look on the internet, y'all stealing in Walmart, you're stealing in Walgreens, you're stealing in CVS, you're stealing everywhere. What is you talking about? That ain't no threat. You been stealing. Let's not talk about the fact that most of y'all got Section 8 vouchers that are not even yours. You got 2, 3, 4 generations of Section 8 vouchers that you're using for somebody who ain't been in that Section 8 house in probably 10, 15 years. So let's not talk about, oh, you gonna start stealing. You done made a whole career out of stealing. At this point, you should be in retirement. You should be looking to retire from your stealing career.
So I'm playing videos from minorities. One of the pushback that I got yesterday was, I don't understand. I'm an outsider watching, and I'm like, okay, fine. But I do watch both sides. I watch what people, like yesterday, we played a bunch of videos of people who are recipients of these benefits. And the only thing they said, the only argument that we continued to hear was how they didn't know how they were going to live. And most of them didn't look like they were hungry. If I show you pictures of people who are hungry in Africa, it's clear that they're hungry. Most of these people are overweight, entitled. They feel like their job is to sit and wait for you, the taxpayer, to go to work. Cut out a portion of your paycheck in taxes and send it over to them to just sit, watch Netflix, buy expensive clothes and bags, go to parties, have sex with random men, and have more children that they can put on those benefits. Is that fair? Is that an oversimplification of the whole situation? No, there are nuances. There are people who genuinely should be on these benefits. There are. Now, if I try to make the dual argument for both realities, the reality that there are some who should not be on these benefits and there are others who should be on these benefits, isn't that a common sense way to look at things and try to isolate those who should not be on those benefits and to remove them from collecting these benefits? They are the ones coming out of the woodwork now to make noise. They are. The people who really need them have a different way of presenting their case. They appeal to compassion. They appeal. Look, they say, look, we can't continue to exist without these things because we genuinely can't work. Most of the voices that we've heard, at least yesterday when I played these videos, are people who are able-bodied and should be able to work. Right, so we're going to finish up her argument. These are arguments coming from American citizens, people who live in the United States, people who know people who are on these food stamps and EBT vouchers. So I'm not making any projections. I'm not assuming anything. We're listening to people who actually are part of the community.
Ain't nobody afraid of you talking about you gonna go steal. And while you're stealing, please get you a loaf of bread. My God, today, Ibo Boshando. Please get you a loaf of bread, ho, and some bologna, and a little bit of cheese, mayo, Miracle Whip, whatever the hell it is that you like. Since you're stealing, steal you some Dijon mustard, and make you a sandwich and shut the hell up. Because what I want you to hear me say is nobody give a damn about your threats about you stealing something. We used to your fucking ass stealing. Then you mad because we don't want illegal people also over here stealing. We got to deal with your stealing and we got to deal with illegal people stealing too? What the hell is going on here? We sick of this shit. You know what? It's all right. Go get you a sandwich. Go somewhere and sit down.
All right, so she's done. All right, so now let me know your thoughts concerning this reaction coming from people who know about this culture. Okay. One reaction says a bunch of these people should not be on these benefits because they come from other countries. The data shows it. Another reaction says a bunch of you have been on these benefits for too long that you've made it your lifestyle. And that is wrong. I come from I've seen these perspectives and I've expressed my position on them. I think it doesn't make any sense that anyone who's able-bodied and can work should be a burden on other taxpayers. Go get a job. You live in the most prosperous country on the planet. I don't see how you would sit back and not figure out a way to take advantage of the benefits you already have by simply being an American citizen. Quit the victim Olympics. It's gotten old. We don't care. We've heard all the arguments. We have historical facts and data to back the fact that yes, some of the disadvantages that you mentioned did happen at one time, but right now there are many stories that tell those disadvantages don't apply anymore to most minorities. They do not. We have people coming from other countries doing well in your country. There are people from my country of origin, Nigeria, who moved to the United States, and they have been known to be widely successful in their careers. Their children go to college. They make sure their children go to college. They get great jobs. Some of them start businesses. They do well. And so for you who is a natural born citizen, laying down on your back, crying about being a victim, it's gotten old. Nobody cares to hear that argument anymore. A ton of immigrants from Africa have come to your country, met you in your squalor, and they've made something of themselves. So please, let's not have this continued argument about how SNAP benefits would, the removal of SNAP benefits would destroy, the families who depend on them. Okay. Now, I had a few other videos reacting to it, but we've gone over this for long enough. So let's look at what the politicians are saying. The Democrats, true to form, don't let a good crisis go to waste. I mean, that's their motto. They've, again, lined up behind the camera to say, look, Donald Trump is refusing to release funds. Now, when I heard it yesterday, I think someone on one of the videos that we looked at yesterday said that, and I was like, why are they saying this? Is there money that President Trump has, which was earmarked for SNAP benefits, that they are holding back. Only for me to find out that they're once again lying about the reality. So let's listen to them talk, and maybe I can tell you what I've come to find out over the last 24 hours.
They clearly knew that this could happen, and they actually had on their website, and I know many of you have seen this, a plan that was not issued under the Biden administration. It was issued under the Trump administration, and we screenshot it, so we have it. No one denied that it was out there. It's now magically disappeared like the East Wing, and it says this. It says, the receipts were these. This plan said, congressional intent is evident, congressional intent, that SNAP's operations should continue during a shutdown, and multi-year contingency funds are also available to fund participant benefits in the event that a lapse occurs. So there it is. We would call that a smoking gun in my old job as a prosecutor. They had it on their own website. They took it down at the administration's direction.
Okay, so let me talk about that. Having a statement on a website is one thing. Feigning ignorance of the existence of these contingency funds is a different thing. Let's remember that we are in hurricane season. This is when these emergency funds actually matter, when there are emergencies, and we did see the effect of Hurricane Melissa in Jamaica, and it's heading towards the southern parts of the United States. I'm not sure if it's made landfall. I haven't seen anything on my feed concerning that, but it's hurricane season. Are the Democrats asking the president to dip into hurricane season funding? I'm just asking. Let me know in the chat, because it kind of sounds like that's what they're doing. If they have receipts of contingency funds, because Congress handles budgeting, handles the release of funds and spending, and they could demand, okay, hey, how much has been released so far? They could do the math to say, this is all the money that we know has been spent on SNAP benefits. How come you're saying that it's going to run out by this time in November? Those are the kinds of conversations that a rational opposition should be having. But everything is sensational. Everything is all about painting the party in office as being mean and evil. We want to have rational conversations. Where are the receipts? You're a member of Congress. You should have these things. Again, a press conference to try to make President Trump and the Republicans look bad and evil.
So they have the money there, or they can fund it through legislation. So let's just make that clear. Then let's go to the second question.
Hold on a minute. Legislation, and who is involved in legislation? There have been several calls for votes to be made in order to make funding available for SNAP benefits and EBT and so on. But Democrats have shut it down repeatedly. How come? It is these things that kind of frustrate me. I'm like, what on earth are you guys doing? And see how she said it and quickly moved on to the next topic. And mainstream media over there may not catch it, and they may have the talking points that they are allowed to ask about. She just said legislation. Am I cherry picking? I don't think I am. Because whenever these people say anything, you need to follow their words carefully. He could fund it through legislation. They've been asking for you guys to sign something to release more funds. You guys have refused to vote on those funding bills. So I mean, it's more deception and misdirection coming from the Democrat Party. Heartbreakingly so, because you're looking at, again, millions of American families who need these benefits. They are simply playing politics. And I think the Republicans too, we're going to listen to what President Trump has to say about this. And then we're going to fact check the statement she just made. All right. She says that the White House has a contingency fund. right? Let's fact check it while I'm at it, because sometimes I say I'm going to do something and then I don't do it. So I would like to do the fact check. Okay, so let's see. We're going to move over. All right, so let's do it with Grok. Let's do it with Grok. All right, so does Democrats claim there are contingency funds for SNAP and EBT that could last years? Is this true? True. If yes, does the Trump admin have the right to pull from these funds without congressional approval? All right, so we're going to just do fact check. Look, I don't live in the United States. I'm not a politician. I like to fact check things because, to be honest, Democrats have essentially told me, I don't know about you, but told me that whenever they say something, do not believe them. So according to ChatGPT, the answers are coming in. Okay. Yes, there are contingency funds for SNAP, but Democrats claim they could last years is a significant exaggeration. They would cover only about 2/3 of 1 month's benefits. Roughly November 2025, not years of funding. I mean, are you listening to you're seeing the lies like I am? So why are they saying that the SNAP benefits would end on November 1st? I don't know. Maybe I'll ask the question to confirm what's going on with the Republican Party too. We need to look at both sides and figure out who's lying to us. Okay. I'm a conservative. I like Trump's approach to governing and his policies. But if there's something going on that we should know about, we should know about it and say, look, hold on there. Why is the Republican Party doing this? All right. So I'm showing you how to fact check the news for yourself. Okay. Think for yourself. Don't let the mainstream media or an influencer tell you how to think. All right. I'm not an influencer. Okay. I'm just a guy doing YouTube videos in his spare bedroom. So I'm only saying this is what is going on. This is how to fact check these things. So let's go the data. All right. So the key facts of the funds, we have all of that. Can the Trump administration access these without congressional approval? It is hotly disputed. A legal battle is underway with over 25 Democratic-led states suing the USDA or Trump admin for refusing to release the funds, calling it illegal. Now, here's both sides of the conversation. All right. Now, don't forget that you can send in your comments in the chat. Let me know what you think about this segment. We're looking at the SNAP benefits and how Democrats are accusing the Republicans. Hey, Canarican, how are you? We're looking at how the House Democrats are accusing the Republicans of withholding so-called years worth of contingency funds for the SNAP benefits. The fact check has just shown us that that's not true. The contingency funds would only last for a part of November. Now, I asked the question, is congressional approval required to use these funds? And then here's the answer. Now, the Trump administration's view is that the funds are not legally available for routine FY. I don't know what FY is. What's FY? Let me know in the chat. 2026 benefits during lapsed appropriations shutdown. Okay, so that it's meant only for specific triggers. which is high state error rates or unemployment, would still leave 3 to 4 billion shortfall for a full month. Congress must appropriate. So the Trump administration cannot willy-nilly decide to jump into the contingency funds and begin to distribute it. The same Democrats who are accusing the Republicans of withholding those contingency funds will be the first to say that they are going to investigate the Trump administration for touching those funds. It's a shell game with these guys, both parties, Republicans and Democrats. So we have to watch both of them carefully and call them out whenever they tend to misbehave. And sadly, the Democrat Party seems to be the party that misbehaves the most. They're the ones who go out there and lie the most. We just caught them out on a lie. They claimed that these contingency funds would last years. Now we found out that they would only last for a few months. So from the Democrat perspective, they claim that yes, the law, according to 7 U.S.C. 2026, I don't know what that is, allows use for regular benefits in like crises like shutdowns. Precedent: Trump USDA used it in 2019 shutdown for January benefits. CBPP available now. Admin is weaponizing hunger for leverage. Okay, I don't know what that is. I think that's a heading. So the argument of the Democrat Party is they did it before. What are the details of that? I don't know, and I don't think we have the time to dig into that. But let me know your thoughts, because we have this situation with the SNAP benefits being politicized by both parties. One party shut down the government, refuses to reopen it after over 12 votes in Congress to reopen the government. The other party is screaming, SNAP benefits are running out. Let's vote to fund these things. Democrats said no. And then, as the funds are running out, they've switched their game plan to say the Republicans have the money that will last years and they don't want to use it. I started out saying I don't believe them, because if they had the accounting, they would tell us the numbers. They didn't tell us the numbers, so we fact checked, and here we have all of the details coming up in the fact check. So the USDA memo October 2025 explicitly refuses deleted contingency plan from the website. That is a claim by Representative Don Bayer. Okay, so they claim that it was deleted from the website. Speaker Johnson says there's a finite source. That means they don't have infinite resources, and it is not legally available. This is coming from the Speaker of the House. The Democrats push a bill to force release. That means they want their $1 trillion to be released in order to go ahead and cooperate with the GOP. And they blame GOP for earlier $186 billion SNAP cuts, because there are people on the SNAP benefits who should not be receiving them. So the bottom line, the funds exist. It won't last for years. Trump admin claims no unilateral right, sticking to the letter of the law for leverage. Again, like I said, is political. But opponents have strong legal precedents or cases likely to decide. The court is likely to decide soon. Shutdown ends if Congress passes funding. GOP wants a clean CR. Democrats want 1.3, I think, trillion dollars. And 42 million Americans hang in the balance. Now, this number 42 million is misleading. Let's fact check this number. How many of the 42 million, are American citizens? Okay, so this is all politics. Okay, so the breakdown: U.S. born citizens account for 89%. This is coming from which year? This is coming from the Al Jazeera and two more sources. Non-citizens account for 10%, 4 million. Okay. All right. SNAP eligibility requires proof of citizenship or qualified immigrant status, and participation rates among eligible non-citizens are lower than for citizens. Okay. All right. So we've covered that. What do you think is going on? Well, I've told you what I think is going on, but let me know your thoughts in the chat or in the comment section. So let's keep listening to the Democrat Party. Within the first minute of their speech, they already lied. It is amazing that these guys break records every single time. Within the first minute, they already lied. And we spent the last few minutes debunking the lie that they told within the first few minutes in an 11-minute video. It's exhausting when you have these experiences where you're trying to give the Democrats the benefit of the doubt, and they continue to tell you, no, we don't deserve the benefit of the doubt. So let's listen a little bit more. We may not be able to cover the entire thing because we're going to listen to President Trump respond. Let's have both sides. They say one thing, President Trump responds, then Speaker Johnson also has his own thoughts, but let's have a listen.
Doing this now. Guess we could ask the same question. Why did Trump pardon George Santos when a lot of people in the Republicans...
What does that have to do with SNAP benefits? What does that have to do with releasing funds for civil service workers to get paid? It has nothing to do with that. Every opportunity they have is just to attack President Trump and not serve. It doesn't serve the American people, in my opinion. American citizens who are watching, let me know how this serves you. Does it serve you in that it provides you with security? It provides you with the necessities that you need to have a fulfilled life in the United States? Does it provide your children with potential of owning their own homes, getting jobs, and so on? How does that help you as an American citizen? Accusing President Trump of potentially breaking a law by executing his presidential powers to pardon someone. Makes no sense.
House never would have wanted that to happen. Why did he suddenly ask for $230 million from the Justice Department? Why did he say he was going to run a third term and then back down? Steve Bannon put it out there. Why are all these things happening?
It's called trolling.
News every single day. Well, they think they can fool the American people. They're seeing their premium increases now. No matter how many things they throw out there, no matter how many families they threaten to starve.
Okay, the point is, most of what you're describing is the aftershock of the Biden years. A president entering the White House doesn't magically change financial realities overnight. It does not. It prepares the environment for what is coming, the financial boom that is coming. And believe me, there is a financial boom coming. And when it lands, the Democrats would want to take credit for it. They'll say this was a Biden boom. Just like when the hostages were released, they ran to the mics to say this was President Trump executing Joe Biden's plan to get the hostages out. That's what they do. During his first term, Obama claimed that the economic boom that was happening under Trump's administration was his economic boom. So when we watch what's going on with the Democrats and the Republicans. What should our reaction be? Should it be hate? Should it be vitriol? No. Calmly watch what's going on. Fact check everything. If President Trump says something that you don't think is true or that is too good to be true, fact check it. Don't just sit back and swallow it hook, line, and sinker. All right? You can enjoy his policies, you can enjoy his presidency, but fact check everything because it's healthy to do. It's healthy so that you don't get hypnotized into thinking that someone is always right. Look, I'm not always right. Sometimes I get it wrong. There was one time I was having a conversation with my wife. I made a statement that I heard someone say, and she stood right in front of me and fact-checked me with ChatGPT. And I was glad she did because it reminded me that I should be careful about the facts that I repeat. I need to fact-check them before I begin to repeat them to someone else. It's a good way to live, don't you think? Right, so let's listen to President Trump because this is running long. The Democrats have spoken for 1 minute and 38 seconds. And if we attempted to fact check this entire video, we would be here all day, literally all day, because we have a statement being made on why Americans aren't going to be receiving their SNAP benefits. And she spends 1 minute, lies within the first 1 minute, and then within the second minute begins to smear President Trump. No answers yet. So for me, that's already a loss. They front load outrage and then they end up telling you nothing. And there are a bunch of other Democrats lined up to repeat the same cycle. They front load outrage and then they just don't tell you anything that would make sense about why over 42 million recipients of these benefits would potentially run out of money in the days to come. Right, so let's watch President Trump on Air Force One. Okay, so President Trump, let's see. This is a report, but let's just go straight to President Trump's speech because usually there's a lot of explanation. I think we've gone through those explanations. Let's see. All right, so let's listen to the breakdown. Just to be fair, let's listen to the breakdown.
Another weekend into the government shutdown with no end in sight, President Donald Trump addressing the possible food fallout benefits that could be coming for families across the country. Now, if lawmakers do not reach a deal to fund the government, SNAP cards may not get refilled on November 1st. Yesterday, the USDA confirmed it will not tap into its contingency fund to cover benefits for next month. Nearly 1.5 million Georgians are on this program. The president spoke to reporters on his way to Malaysia, saying Democrats are to blame.
Some other people talk, I'll have a comment on that later, but the Democrats are stopping it. All they have to do is agree to let's go and we're ready, but we voted for it many times. All we need is 5 Democrats. The Republicans vote for it, but we'll see what happens. But really, this is purely Democrat. They're doing some really bad things. I think they're lost souls. You know what that is? So they are lost souls.
Now, we asked the governor's office about releasing the emergency fund.
All right, so President Trump again saying, look, this is all the Democrats' fault. I will say, well, it's still politics. There's a political edge to it. There are things that he could say like, okay, we have this amount in contingencies, but we can't, like, I would really prefer some of the things we're fact-checking to come out of these gaggles that President Trump is having. However, I also understand that he doesn't know everything. He could say something on Air Force One, and then when he gets fact-checked, he gets jumped on if he's wrong. For example, the Democrats say they prepared a speech to claim that these benefits would last for, the contingencies would last for years. We fact-checked them and found out, no, it will only last for a few days. So I think there's an element to him being careful and not saying things that eventually get fact-checked, or being wrong. But then again, he should have these facts ready to go. I don't know. What do you think? Let me know in the chat or in the comments. So that's President Trump responding to questions from the press. All right. Now I'm going to maybe I will cover this. Excuse me. All right. So in the end, Americans need answers. We're going to watch this video because this is basically Tim Pool on his panel during his show, talking about the threats that a lot of the recipients have made to start stealing and attacking people. So let's see. SNAP benefit. Okay, so I'm reading the chat. Okay, if you're watching, thanks for watching, but please jump into the chat. Let me know your thoughts about what we have just covered, and then let's have a conversation around this. This is hot on the news because in a couple of days, the deadline will show up and the SNAP cards will not be refilled. So SNAP recipients will not receive funding in their cards, and that is where the problems will kick off for a lot of families who really do need it. We've heard about the fraud that's going on already from Americans. We've heard that. But for the Americans who really need it, it is really going to be a dire situation. Of course, NGOs, churches, and private entities will be on standby to give as much assistance as they can. But usually it is not enough. You can't outgive the government because it is the government. So we'll see what happens though. So in the comments section, so the majority of SNAP recipients are YT Americans. What does YT mean? I don't get that reference. YT. I don't know. So let's just clarify and let me know what that means. We know our politicians, and this is what they do: talk, filibuster, and avoid the real issues, which is unfortunate. It's unfortunate. I hate that this has to happen. When I was younger and very naive, I saw American politicians differently. The older I got and the more I paid attention to American politics, I got more jaded, and it almost made me feel hopeless, because living in Africa, my thoughts were that as long as the American political process holds the line and shows how governance should be done, there was hope for my country. But the more I looked at the American government and saw a lot of the corruption and the fraud that I see in my own country, and even in spades, like it is massive. Like when you look at fraud totaling billions, hundreds of billions of dollars, I felt really discouraged. Like, okay, there's no one else to look up to, because our government essentially are watching what the Americans are doing, feel like these people are hypocrites, and are simply repeating the same practices that they see happening in the United States, but they are doing it smaller. So that felt really bad. I'm just telling you how I felt and how I saw things. So so let's listen to Tim Pool's report. Keep the comments coming, please. If you're watching, like the video, share the video, consider subscribing if you haven't subscribed. I will give you a shout out if you subscribe. And if you don't see me giving you a shout out and you've subscribed, just put it in the chat, just subscribed, and I will give you a shout out. And then if you can, consider supporting us with a super chat, super thank, or joining the membership. It helps us keep the lights on and helps us refine the presentation and provide you with more value. All right, so let's listen to the report from Tim Pool.
This is one of the biggest stories in the history of our country. This is one of the biggest stories of our generation. Trump admin warns 42 million Americans could lose food stamps as shutdown drags on. The USDA is warning that SNAP funds will run dry starting November 1st. And my reaction? I don't care. I love it. Okay, anyway, you get the point. Now, I know there are a lot of people that do rely on this, so I'm only half kidding when I say I don't care. I love it. The Trump administration is warning millions of Americans could lose out on federal food benefits within days if Democrats do not accept Republicans' plan to end the government shutdown. The USDA said it does not have the ability to independently reshuffle funds into the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, commonly known as food stamps, according to a recent memo obtained by Fox News Digital. Due to congressional Democrats' refusal to pass a clean continuing resolution, approximately 42 million individuals will not receive their SNAP benefits come November 1st. This jeopardizes all SNAP recipients in November, including those that have applied for benefits in the last half of October and furloughed federal employees who will not receive their combined October-November benefits. And this is not a joke, my friends. If you go to google.com and type in the words "is they," the first thing that pops up is, quote, "Is they cutting food stamps?" That a brick wall, Mr. Brickman or whatever showed me that brick suit, Mr. Brick suit man. He showed me just before the show. He's like, "Look, this is legit," and I pulled it up, and it really is. And I guys, as part of me wants it to happen, because for too long, too many people in this country have just suckled off the teat of Uncle Sam. However, I do understand there are real Americans that desperately rely on this for legitimate reasons,
which is my
it's
position
a rock and a
too.
hard place. I can't imagine Trump or anyone allows this to happen, because if 42 million people can't buy food all around the exact same time, you are going to see the margins of every major box store and grocery store drop significantly. It may only be a couple percentage points, but enough that these stores have stocked their shelves to compensate for welfare purchasers. We got Cove Pure. Man, my friends, Cove Pure. Do you trust the government to make the best choice for your health? Some of you probably do.
So he's advertising. Okay, so let's talk about what he said. I already covered most of what he already said, and the scenario is, if all of this happens at the same time and 42 million Americans can't buy food all at once, what does it look like? It's not a nice picture. 42 million people can't buy food, and they progressively get hungry. By day number 7, what happens? And for communities where theft essentially has been made to look okay. It's okay to steal if you're hungry. It's okay to steal if you're black, if you're minority. It's okay to steal from chain stores because they are owned by billionaires and they have the money. It's okay to steal from billionaires because they deserve it. When you look at these kinds of communities and how they and how they framed theft, what is going to happen in those communities after they've robbed the chain stores into oblivion? Where do you think they're going to go next? All right, so I would say, regular Americans, you need to call your representatives and tell them, look, they have to fix this. That's what I would say. There are others who would call for other extreme measures, which I do not subscribe to. So I would say, use the democratic process, put pressure on your representatives so that common sense prevails. I don't see the sense in releasing $1 trillion to waste on projects that have no benefit to the average American. I don't see that benefit. So they should just wake up and stop playing politics with the American people. That's what I would say. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section or in the chat. Can we talk a bit about the new format and direction of the channel? All right. Yes, let's open up to general conversations. So in the chat, we have a request to talk about the channel and the new format. Good. Let's talk about it. And I hope you're following this in real time. Sometimes what happens with the live stream is I start live streaming, the viewers join late, and then they rewind back to the very beginning in order to follow the story. So sometimes I'm looking at comments or chat that comes in much earlier in the live stream, and when I attempt to reply, it's almost like I'm dropping a reply and waiting for the person who put up the reply to read or to hear what my response is, and then to respond as well. So if you're watching, I would also like to know what your thoughts are concerning the new format. I received a comment in the membership section, because what happens is when I create videos, there's a video that's meant to drop, I think, later today, or it's already dropped. And I received a comment about that particular video, and there was a request to create more videos like that, where there were two arguments playing out, more like a debate format, where there were two people debating an issue and the pushback was being seen in real time. You know, yeah, they fooled me while I was in Africa, because I was watching CNN. I told you guys that for decades, CNN was the only window that we had into the United States. And I watched that for decades until 2016, where I began to see some of the hypocrisy and the switch, the hard shift that mainstream media made when Donald Trump came down the escalator, woke up many people. What they didn't realize was, I don't know if you've seen the movie Inception. Okay, so if you've not seen the movie, here's the synopsis. The story of Inception is set in a world where it's possible to literally hack into someone's dream. And if you go deep enough into their dreams, you can plant ideas that you want them to have, which would benefit you. And large companies who could pay for this kind of inception, because that's what it's called. So there are two types of dream hacking. There is extraction, I think that's what it's called. And there was inception. Extraction was where you go into someone's dream to steal an idea or some information. Companies did that to their competition when they wanted to steal proprietary ideas from their competition. But there was inception, which was extremely hard to do, which is to plant an idea into the mind of someone so that they think it's their idea, and then they make a decision that would benefit their competition. So that's the plot of the entire thing. So in the dream state, the people who carried out these hacks needed to avoid upsetting the balance of the dream, because if they did so enough, it would wake up the person that they were trying to hack to the fact that they were being hacked. Okay, so that's basically what I wanted to point out. So if you said something, did something, if you pointed out something that you shouldn't have known about, many of these people were trained to pick up on these things, and they would know that they were being hacked. So that's what I wanted to point out. So what happened in 2016 was many of us figured that we were being hacked. There was the hard shift of mainstream media caused a lot of us to wake up and say, look, we're being hacked, we're being lied to, there's something wrong here. Literally for years, I stopped listening to CNN and Fox News, because Fox News too was very, what's the word? They were hostile to President Trump. Megyn Kelly, who was on the panel, was on the interview panel or the debate moderator panel, had an encounter with President Trump. They had a feud for years. They've made up, but he made a lot of enemies of the mainstream media. So I didn't listen to Fox News for a long time. I didn't listen to CNN and I still essentially don't, because they lost my trust. Decades of trust went out the window because I found out that they were lying to me about the realities in America. So, and you know what? They would come to Africa. Some of you that ask me, why are you talking about America? Why didn't you talk about Africa? America has been talking about Africa for decades. Why are you offended that now we're talking about you? Why? You've been talking about us for decades. So I'm just not interested in having those kinds of arguments with people who don't realize that we live in a time when I can sit in my bedroom and see what's going on all over the world, and I can have an opinion. There's nothing wrong with having an opinion. I have an opinion. I'm a guy with a channel who gives his opinion, and with my live stream, I let you give your opinion as well. Yeah, you guys need to wake up someday. Well, we did wake up. Most of us woke up, or a few of us woke up in 2016. A few others are still hypnotized by CNN and mainstream media. So I still see that. My dad used to watch the 9 o'clock news in Nigeria. I figured out long before he stopped watching 9 o'clock news that it was full of BS. And I stopped watching the local news because it was all propaganda. I woke up a long time ago. Maybe I didn't realize it. So he's making fun of vernacular English in a thinly veiled race attack. But don't the majority of recipients look like him? He's a hypocrite. Who's making fun of vernacular English? I don't know. I read the chat and I respond. That's what this live stream is all about. It's a conversation between us. So if you're watching, jump into the live chat, read the live chat, jump into the live chat, and let's know what you think. If you're black, if you're a minority, dude, you are lost. I don't understand. Okay, I'm trying to figure out where this is coming from. So I've said a lot during this live stream, and I'm trying to place where exactly that statement was made. Trying to place exactly where that statement was made. Yeah. The live streams are awkward sometimes, especially when you have not everyone chatting. So it's like awkward. Like I'm trying to figure out where exactly that statement was made. All right. Now to avoid this sort of break in synchronization, what a lot of streamers do is they turn off the ability to rewind the stream. They lock in the people watching into the present timestamp of the stream, so they can't rewind to go back to watch what has been said. So that could be helpful. So let me know in the chat if I should do that, because it will help the live stream kind of have a proper flow. It makes sure that everyone is on the same page, so that if you're making a comment or you're chatting, it kind of allows us to be on the same page, if you will. So I see a comment in the chat. I'm reading it. I'm trying to place exactly where that statement was made, who made the statement, and I'm like, okay, I don't know where it's coming from. All right, so we were supposed to be discussing the current format. We're supposed to be discussing the current format of the live stream. So if you have any ideas or thoughts on the current format of the live stream, let me know. If you have suggestions that could improve your experience, what I'm trying to do eventually is to be able to present two sides of the argument. We could look at what general mainstream media is saying, and we could also look at what conservative voices are saying, and then we can fact check and make up our own minds, because everyone has an agenda. Like, I don't like feeling this way, but these days I tend to feel like I need to have my guard up whenever I hear anything that's coming from anyone. Everyone has an agenda. I was speaking with a friend of mine I think it was the day before yesterday or yesterday, and I told him that I often face the temptation to pander to my audience or to a certain audience in order to continue to generate views and to pick up more subscribers. And you know what? I think I know what to do that. I could create outrageous claims. I could go out of my way to say things that are so far to the extreme that it generates a lot of controversy and conflict. I could change my voice and begin to scream and rage and rant and generate outrage about stories. I could. And I would get millions of views. I could do something controversial and get millions of views. However, appealing to a certain kind of audience eventually backfires if it's the wrong kind of audience. If I build an audience that is built on outrage, I will have an audience that will continue to ask for more and more until I begin to do things or say things that are totally horrible and wrong. And I don't want this channel to be that way. And that's why, I've kind of carefully curated and organized the show to be calm and conversational. And I try very hard to keep it that way. I hope you enjoy the calm and conversational tone. I hope it helps. I hope you like it. If you do, and you're not subscribed, why aren't you subscribed? All right. So help out by subscribing, liking, sharing the video, liking the video, like the video, react to the video, and then please engage in the chat. There are a handful of us that do chat. I mean, we have Canary King. He's in the chat. He always chats. Okay. And everyone should be grateful to him because he basically pushed me to do more live streaming. He said, look, I enjoy your live streams. I think you should do more live streams. I felt very self-conscious and wasn't sure that I should. But essentially, the upgrades to my room, to my recording room, was because I wanted to do more live streams. And he pushed me and said, look, you need to do more live streams. And I said, okay, I will. And I have been doing, I think is it 3 weeks now since I began to live stream every weekday. And I enjoy live streaming. So talking to you and exchanging ideas is at the core of the entire conversation. All right. Megan was a rabid hater of Trump. She was. She couldn't stand him. I think having the same enemies can force a reconciliation. The things that he said were not very nice. I mean, and Trump is he can be very abrasive when he wants to be. And he's been very abrasive towards Megyn Kelly, at least during the 2016 election campaign. He was very abrasive, just like he's abrasive to CNN and mainstream media. He's very abrasive. He calls them out, calls them fake news, shuts them down, passes over them to give a little known reporter or outlet the floor to ask questions. He's very abrasive. Is he wrong for being abrasive? I don't know. It's his own position. Okay. All right. So Canary King is saying that the statements he made earlier was in response to the person I played earlier. Okay. I'm going to figure out who. It was a guy that I played earlier. I don't know. It must not have been these guys. It could have been this person, maybe. I don't know. I had several guys the guy with the hat. All right, so he has a hat on. Yeah, he has a hat on. So maybe it's this guy. All right. He's making fun of vernacular English in a thinly veiled race attack. Yeah, the guy in the video. Okay. So, Canary King, do you think that I should turn off the DVR feature of the live stream to force viewers of the live stream to stick with what I'm currently broadcasting instead of having the ability to rewind the video and go back to what I have said earlier? Because right now I can tell that you are roughly 4 or 5 minutes behind, and it's great to be able to use the DVR feature to rewind and to watch stuff that you didn't catch in the early part of the live stream. That already happens by default on Twitch and on Kick. But when you get to YouTube, you have the option of turning that off or on. So we're talking about the current format of the live stream now. Let me know what you think of that particular switch, if that would work for the live stream so that we can actually have real-time conversations. Now, I know that a lot of context or detail might be lost, especially for people who didn't join when the live stream started, and they may have to catch up later by going back and rewatching the stream. That's one of the downsides of turning off the DVR. But for a live stream that is heavily dependent on audience engagement, I think the DVR being turned off might be beneficial. So let me know what you think when you eventually get to this point of the video. Now, I said this at 1:21 Eastern. So let's see when he responds to that. I'll tell you when. 1:21 Eastern, let's see when he responds. I'm going to write this down so I don't forget. All right. Trying to catch the lag. Yeah, so all right, so I'm gonna play a report. Okay, so President Trump, yesterday we talked about his win with his trade deal with South Korea. Today we have reports that he also had a trade agreement with China. If this holds, because there has been conversation in the past that he had a trade win with China back earlier this year, and then it fell out because of some of the things that changed. Trump doesn't have power over the decisions that other countries make or other leaders make. He has power over what he has agreed to. And if the other team decides that they want to change the rules and break the agreement, it should not be seen as Trump's fault. It would be disingenuous to try to blame Trump for another team not playing by the rules. If Trump's policies caused the change or the break, then you can blame Trump. But most of what I see happening is anytime a trade partner decides to cheat the United States and walk away from the trade deal, people are ready to jump up and say, aha, we told you it wouldn't work. Trump sucks. So I don't think that's a good way to, engage in good faith conversations politically. All right, so I'm going to play this video about the report on the trade deal, and then I'll give my thoughts on it while I try to keep track on the messages in the chat.
We are coming on the air with the breaking news from President Trump's meeting with China's President Xi Jinping. Their face-to-face meeting just wrapping up in South Korea. The world's two largest economies trying to figure out a trade deal after months of imposing tariffs on China. President Trump came into these talks hoping to end his trade war with China. Before the meeting, Trump saying the two sides had agreed to the framework of a deal. That agreement focusing on everything from tariffs to fentanyl to ending the Chinese boycott of American soybeans, which has been a major blow to some American farmers. The deal would also loosen restrictions on China's sale of rare earth minerals. They are critical for making smartphones and cars. And just moments before the meeting, Trump saying on social media he ordered the Pentagon to begin nuclear testing on an equal basis to other countries, saying that will start immediately. Let's get to our senior political correspondent, Rachel Scott. She's traveling with the president. Rachel, what are you learning about any agreement here?
Well, the president walked out of this nearly 2-hour-long meeting with Chinese President Xi to announce that a trade deal has been reached. The president had threatened 100% additional tariffs on Chinese imports, which would have raised the cost on everything from clothes to electronics. As of right now, it appears that has been averted. The president telling reporters on Air Force One that China has agreed to purchase soybeans from American farmers and crack down on fentanyl, and also loosen those restrictions on those critical rare earth minerals that you were just talking about that are key.
So these are key issues that would have affected the American economy long term. President Trump's approach to dealing with the Chinese is to impose tariffs so that they can come back to the negotiating table in order to get favorable benefits for the American businesses, farmers, the American people. And that is essentially the way the world works. You don't get someone to do something beneficial to you because they are altruistic. No one is that way. No one is that way. No one is going to simply make a decision to benefit your country or your economy simply because they want to be good people, right? That is being naive. That is being stupid. It is a child's dream that the whole world will cater to you simply because they want to be nice to you. So, in the end, what I think is happening here is that President Trump has gotten what he wants from China, at least for now. He's gotten the promise to clamp down on fentanyl entering into the US. The second, he has gotten them to buy more soybean from American farmers, which is a great deal for the farmers. And then third, the third deal was on the rare earth metals that the Chinese had basically co-opted and secured in order to keep the American companies who require these rare earth metals to struggle to get them. So I will say that this is a good deal for the American people. All right, so what do you think? Because you need those rare earth metals for electronics, for technology. Of course, most of the technology companies that are running things in the world are based in the United States. For military purposes, you need these rare earth metals for the chips and motherboards and other components that electronics need. So I would say that it's a good deal. Let's see if China keeps their end of, or upholds their own end of the bargain. There are claims that Trump basically folded to the Chinese. I don't know about that. He was threatening to impose an additional 100% tariff on China. They came to the negotiating table. They met. They discussed. And I'll tell you, from what Trump has said, Trump has, I think, and that's my opinion. You can prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Trump has respect for the leader of China. All right. Trump has respect for the leader of China. And he said so several times. And I want to believe that the Chinese leader also respects Trump. Because the only language people like that respect is strength. They want someone who can look them in the eye and tell them whatever it is that they want to tell them and get away with it. Okay, so it took 9 minutes. All right, so sorry, you're 9 minutes behind. Oh, sorry, 8 minutes behind. Wow, that's interesting. Yeah, so he respects strength. Trump respects strength. Other global leaders respect strength. People have been told that the world doesn't respect the United States because they think Trump is a joke. And that is simply not true. It is not true. The world respects him. I worked with people who told me how much they respect what Trump is doing. And this is here in Canada. So whatever you see on mainstream media outlets that are controlled by globalists, it's not true. World leaders who flocked to the White House to see President Trump and to kiss the ring knew what they were doing. They knew that someone who upheld American values and wanted America to be great was in the White House, and they could not carry out business like they did with the Biden White House. They all came lined up to kiss the ring. Even those who had previously said things about Trump that they eventually had to pretend they didn't say came to pay their respects. They came to bend the knee. So no matter what they say, they bent the knee because they knew Trump would not take any BS from anyone. Yeah, so that's a good thing for the American people. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Canary King has already responded. Trump is doing a good job on trade. I've been talking about this, I guess, for 8 minutes. So he's arriving late as usual. So I'm going to drop another breadcrumb for Canary King. And if you're watching, you can answer. I did ask. Okay. So, he responded already. So I asked earlier whether I should switch off the DVR feature of the live streams. All right. I have someone following me on Twitch, Google Rabbi Discord. All right. Thanks for following. If you're watching on Kick, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Rumble, please consider following us or subscribing on those channels. It helps out. Please consider supporting us. There's a link in the description of this live stream that would allow you to donate to the channel. It helps us keep the lights on. It is very helpful when that happens. It is because essentially, for the meantime, this is my 9 to 5. This is my 9 to 5. So it helps. It helps us keep the lights on. If you appreciate my well-balanced, even take on news and events around the world, and I try to be non-partisan. And non-partisan doesn't mean I don't agree with one side. I agree more with the Trump administration and with conservative values, because they align with my personal convictions. On the day when they change, you will watch me in real time change. That's being non-partisan, right? It doesn't mean trying to agree with both sides. So if you like the non-partisan approach that I have here, a calm approach that doesn't raise your blood pressure, we're at that age where we don't need our blood pressure raised, but we do need very thoughtful commentary on the news, politics, and culture, where culture is going, and our thoughts to it, and possibly provide some answers to what's going on in the world. Please consider subscribing and supporting the video. Right, the trade deal identified the true source of fentanyl, yet Rubio wants to attack a Latino country. We talked about the push that Marco Rubio is making for more aggressive posturing towards South American Latino countries. We talked about that. And we will be looking, like I said yesterday, we're going to watch. You've turned me on to looking out for this positioning by Marco Rubio. I think what he's doing as the Secretary of State and the visibility that he's getting from this role is setting him up to be a contender for the presidency in the future. He's doing his best to show himself off as someone who is a strong leader who can go out there and negotiate deals in a very fair and strong way. It looks like it. However, everyone has an agenda. If this agenda of gosh, my color is looking weird. If this agenda continues to play out in future conversations that I see of Marco Rubio, then I will understand how your position holds, and I might adopt that position too. I believe that Americans, leaders in America, have to cater to the American people. A strong America is good for the regular guy in the world. A regular guy like me, who isn't a politician. I don't own a multi-billion-dollar company, so who's in the White House doesn't affect me business-wise. But if there's someone in the White House who strengthens the American economy and makes it possible for anything I do as a regular guy to succeed as a result, it's good for me. If American businesses are strong, if the American people are doing well financially or economically, I think it kind of opens up an opportunity for people to trade with them, because now they have the economical means or the financial means to trade directly with other creators or business owners everywhere else in the world. A strong America is good for the regular guy. That's what I think. And so when I support these policies, I do so knowing that eventually the world is going to benefit from a strong America. A weak America is bad for the world. If America is controlled by communists and socialists, it is horrible for the rest of the world. Right. Trump is solid on the China deal. I think he is, and I hope it sticks. He spent the better part of 9 months trying to land these trade deals in order to set up the balance of his tenure. If these deals hold by December, it will be a great 2026 and an even greater 2027 because of all of the mileage that we'll be seeing. So let's see how it does by December. Hopefully it holds. There's a leadership struggle in China now, allegedly. Yes. And if there's a leadership struggle, it is largely because of the tariffs. It's created a nightmare situation for Chinese businesses, Chinese companies and factories who are experiencing a shortfall in orders from the United States. Now, does the removal of the tariffs, or at least the reduction of the threats, the 100% threat that President Trump proposed, is that going to be a lifeline for President Xi? I don't know. President Xi has led China for almost 10 years or over 10 years. Please confirm that in the chat. So if there's a struggle there, it's likely because the tariffs are really doing a number on his economy. So let's watch. I'll take the wait and see approach to things. Right. So we've gone through all the stories so far that I plan on discussing today. I want to hang out a little bit more, talk with you guys in the chat, and where we are yet to talk about the direction of the channel. So I have a suggestion to make. I will avoid. Okay, I'm just going to make a suggestion. If you could drop your thoughts on the direction of the channel, things that you've noticed, suggestions that you would like to make concerning elements of the live stream. I did play. Okay, maybe I should go ahead and play one of my Trump videos. Trump weakened the economy. Yeah, he did. And he made it very clear that that was not his intention was to engage in a fair trade deal. That was his intention. But with a trade partner that refuses to negotiate, that became an issue. That became an issue. So what do you do when the person that you're negotiating with tells you to stuff it? Says, we're not interested in negotiating with you, so take a hike. What do you do at that point? So President Trump had to do what he had to do. He did what he had to do. He pulled the trigger on the tariffs. China's economy took a major hit. And now they've come to the table. Now, for anyone out there that is discounting China, please don't. The Chinese economy, civilization has been around for over 1,000 years. They've been around for a while. So they are an extremely proud people. They are proud people. They will fight you if you try to belittle them. Okay? So they aren't playing. They have a population of over 3 billion, I think. Please correct me in the chat, but I think they're over 1 billion or 2 billion or almost 2 billion. So they have a large population. They have a huge standing army. Don't discount them. Their manufacturing is the biggest in the world because they cater to the world. The trade deals of the 90s set them up to be the world's manufacturer. So don't discount them. However, the United States made decisions that severely impacted their economy. I've always said that the Chinese economy is a paper economy. When I say paper, I mean it's not a strong economy. It's not metal. It's not a strong economy. All it takes is for something to shift from the largest patron of the world, the United States. All it took is for the United States to sneeze, and China caught a cold. They just said, look, we're going to impose tariffs if you don't stop doing these things. There was a moment of bravado, but it was short-lived. It didn't last. It didn't last. So we can have all of the arguments and all of the the projections about what's going on with China and how the United States is succeeding, but don't discount China. Don't. All right. Always be wary of what China is doing. Always be wary of what China is doing. Always. Don't sleep on China. Because most businesses in China are backed by the government, they tend to have a robust launch, and they tend to figure out a way to keep things going. So even now, China is trying to figure out how to outfox the United States. Okay. All right. So I finally got feedback on the channel, and the feedback is flattering. The feedback is flattering, and I'm going to try not to get the flattery. I'm going to try hard not to allow the flattery get to my head, because as much as it's nice to hear these things or to read these things, somehow I still don't buy it. Okay, so I'm not saying that you're wrong, but somehow I still don't buy it. Now, if you're watching the live stream, you can see the observations that were just posted. All right, number one, my observations about the channel are: one, you are the draw of the channel. Number two, some of the politicians bickering isn't as interesting, though your comments isn't as interesting, though your comments help. And number three, perhaps we can add additional topics. Okay. I'm trying to figure out the last one. Okay, so let's go step by step. All right. So here's real talk. So let me talk with you guys, okay? Real talk. Real talk here is this. And I'm just going to try to, this is usually conversation that I like to reserve for the membership section, but I'm just going to do it here because you brought it up, and since you're all here, I'm just going to have this conversation with you. Okay, I'll start with just something very simple. I am very self-conscious about how I present content, because I know that I am speaking into the realities of American politics and I am not American. So I'm very self-conscious already because of that. Number two, I don't know everything. But what I do know, I try to present in as much honesty, or with as much honesty as I can. Number three, I enjoy doing this so much, but I have a conflict. I have a conflict. The conflict is, I'm a family man with a wife, 3 kids, and as much as I really want to do this, like I want to retire into this. That's what I want to do. That's the plan. I want to retire into doing this full time. But currently, it's not capable of paying my bills. I have permission to do this right now because I am in the middle of renewing my work permit. I can't do any other job until I fix that. And I can't find an under-the-desk paying job because I don't believe in that. I talk about it here on the channel. I don't believe in immigrants breaking the law in other countries. And even though I have a mortgage, I have kids to feed, I have family to take care of. My mom is getting buried in January, and I haven't been able to send funds since I lost my job over to help with the arrangements. So there's that pressure behind me. So I'm doing this with a lot of there are a lot of conflicts going on inside of me. All right, self-conscious, everything that I've said, all that is going on. And reluctantly, I began to have a call to action to support the channel. And it was done reluctantly. I didn't want to have to ask for support. I wanted people to love the channel so much, love the content so much that they would go ahead and do that. We've had a few people who have supported the channel financially by donating and so on. And I'm so grateful for that. But the channel isn't there yet. It can't support me full time. So I'm laying this background to let you understand how the channel is evolving. It was originally a channel where I simply posted videos where I talked about different things. Then the election cycle came on. I did a review of the channel and found that most people who watched the channel were within the age bracket of 45 and 60, and that most of them wanted me to create content on news and politics. And I began to talk about news and politics, and the channel exploded. By July of last year, we had 300 subscribers. By February or March of this year, it had grown to 10,000 since I made the switch from having an everything channel to a news and politics channel. I also found out that most of the reactions that I do with watching other people, like the politicians, give comments and then I give commentary, tended to, if you look at the back end of YouTube and you watch the videos, you would see how the videos operate. The early part of the video where the politician is talking, obviously in an American accent, you would see that the engagement would actually be fairly high. And then once I cut in and begin to talk and do my commentary, it would drop off. That sent a signal to me, which is most of the people who find the videos want to hear these politicians. They don't care about an immigrant talking about American politics. That's the signal that got sent. And so I held back from live streaming because the signals that I was getting from the analytics is the people want to just see the commentary coming from people who sound like them. So when I say I'm self-conscious about this entire thing, this is all that's happening at the same time. You encouraged me to start live streaming. I thoroughly enjoy live streaming. I enjoy the exchange. I enjoy the back and forth. I enjoy learning from you and seeing that there are times when you learn from me. However, there's this conflict that this has to pay the bills. Real talk. So all of that is happening. And the political bickering makes up for, like, if we're real about it. Okay, so let me just read the chat while I'm going, because I'm going on to point number 2. Don't be self-conscious. Americans value free speech and opinions. News and politics is a good niche. All right. Paying bills is a good goal. Yeah, it is. It is. The Bible says that if anyone is unwilling to take care of his family, to take care of his own, that he is worse than an infidel. So a huge part of being a Christian is taking responsibility for those that you are responsible for, your family, your wife, your kids. And so it's a huge part of this. I like your data-oriented analysis. All right, so let me know if you want to see more data-oriented analysis. The content that tends to make a lot of waves, because like I said, there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure to kind of go all out and go hard and be emotional and passionate. And some of the content creators that I follow use curse words. I don't use curse words. I don't use curse words. I'm seeing... What did I miss? I saw it. I heard a chime. I don't see a notification. Okay, so he said yes. Yeah. So I lost my train of thought, because I was looking for the message. Right. So I see the message now. I'm going to have to follow it on a different tab. So here's what excuse me, I need to be sure. There's a feature on Streamlabs where I can actually make the chat show up in large format on the screen. I've been trying to figure that out for days now. Maybe today I'll sit down and try and figure it out. Yeah. So maybe I'm going to have to sit down and focus more on data-driven responses to the news, like I did today. What I do want is to be able to have these conversations with a larger audience. The growth of the audience, the support of the audience, at least financially, helps. For those of you who follow the content regularly, helping me spread the content by simply liking the videos as soon as you join the live stream and jumping into the comments section and typing in your comments, is a great indicator for the YouTube algorithm to help the channel reach more people. How many topics or videos did you cover today? I essentially covered 3 topics today. I covered the SNAP benefits, the reaction. Well, I would say four topics essentially. I covered, generally 2 topics. The SNAP benefits was one, but there were several segments to it, and then there was the trade deal. The first set of videos under the SNAP benefits was Americans' reaction to other Americans who are on the SNAP benefits having a meltdown about the benefits going away. And then the second batch was the politicians' reaction to those to basically SNAP benefits going away. And then the third segment was the trade deal. So, and that's the thing. Usually, I would like to do 10 minutes on each topic. the format of the live stream sort of doesn't lend to that kind of blocked time, because if you join the live stream and you leave a comment and the person who is on the live stream doesn't respond to the comment immediately, does it affect your commitment to stay through to the end of the live stream? That's a question. Or should the person creating the content, in this case me, go through the content? So let's say 10 minutes for each story. So or each topic. So if I were to say 10 minutes for each of the topics that I'm handling, I go through 4 topics. That's about 40 minutes. And then the rest of the live stream would be looking through the chat and engaging the comments in the chat. All right. Now that could go for another 20 minutes or more. Okay. So right now we've been streaming for an hour, 55 minutes. The first set of stories on SNAP benefits, I may have gone about an hour on that one segment. I talked about the reaction of the politicians for a bit. Sorry, hold on. Zoe. Yeah, sorry, hold on. My kid is back from school. 1 second. Are you okay? Right. What's up? I'm still live streaming. I'll be done as soon as I'm done, okay? Okay, help me close the door. Yeah, so 10 minutes. If you can make it so move fast, more interesting that way. 10 minutes per topic. Yes, 10 minutes per topic, 4 topics, 20 minutes. Yeah. So I'm looking at doing that. And I was already heading in that direction, but because we were trying to see how we could experiment on making the live stream different, I'm looking at something more engaging. Okay, so maybe I just have to stick with a tighter schedule. Have a tighter schedule and then end the live stream with comments. All right, so we can just, so I've been thinking of that and I already have that. I'm heading in that direction already. I'm heading in that direction already, and I'm going to start out with that format tomorrow. I'm going to start out with that format tomorrow because to start with, I know that dragging out the conversation on a live stream can be boring unless there are multiple people on the screen in front of you engaging on the story. Just having an argument on the story or having a conversation on the story, sometimes it can be interesting, but then again, they don't go into a story for 20-30 minutes, in one live stream. They try to keep it below 10 minutes and then they move on to the next topic. So what I will be doing is every day I will cover 4 topics, 20 minutes for 10 minutes per topic, 10 minutes per topic, and then give time for engagement in the chat. Now, I will have to figure out how to engage the chat because I want people to stick around for the chat. That's the part of the live stream that I think it matters to me, because that's the purpose of a live stream, that people can engage and that they can feel like they are heard and that they are important. So I'm going to have to figure out how to do that. This Chiron at the bottom of the screen here, the one in blue, maybe I'm going to shorten it. It's too long. There are too many instructions there. Nobody reads it. So for the next live stream, maybe I might just do that now. I was thinking of simply changing it into something very simple. Give me a second. Let me quickly change that Chiron. Let's see. I hope it doesn't blow up in my face. Hope it doesn't blow up in my face. Yeah, so you can see me tweaking my my Chiron in real time. Yeah, so there's that. It's too long, it's confusing, and I've been thinking of doing that. I've been too busy. Now I've changed it live on the stream. This is a one-man operation. Again, it's a one-man operation. Things fall through the cracks. There are times when I have a plan, but because it's just me, sometimes it just doesn't work out. But I like to take action immediately. So once I decide, okay, because it's a one-man thing, as soon as I decide I'm going to do this, I immediately change it. So I'm going to start from tomorrow to implement the plan that we've just discussed. 4 stories, 10 minutes each, and then wrap up the live stream with going into the chat. That means that I will no longer be responding to the chat immediately. That might also mean that the chat, the chat over here at the extreme end of the screen may have to disappear. I may have to take it out in order to focus on the content, and then at the tail end of the live stream, I could bring it back. It's either I bring it back or I put up the chat I am responding to show up at the bottom, and have it highlighted. So that could be what I'm going to have to do. So yeah, so let me know what you think. I have been struggling with these ideas for a long time. So I've been struggling with these ideas for a long time, and it's good that we're talking about this in real time. Like this live stream, essentially the content is done. We're going to be talking about the future of the live stream here until the live stream ends. So yeah. Now, with the call to action, with the calls to action that we've been putting up, I'm going to have to do more of that. I'm going to have to do more of that, and maybe I will include it in the Chiron as well. Just smash the like button, like the channel, subscribe, something, because those are important. Those are very important to the growth of the channel. Then I also want the live chat segment to also allow for the audience to suggest other news items that we could look at, possibly which are related to what we're watching, or what we've said already or covered already on the episode or on the live stream. So I think that would be a good thing. Yeah, so yes, I have been giving this a lot of thought. I've been giving this a lot of thought. And as much as possible, I want to be able to provide value, for all of you. So I thoroughly appreciate your thoughts. The fact that you're pointing out these areas of improvement is an indication that you've been thinking about the channel and ways that the channel can improve, and I appreciate it deeply. Thank you so much. Let's see. Perhaps we can add additional topics. Okay, so 3, I know I've mentioned it, but but for number 3, we've been looking at news and politics, and in this area I haven't been great because I've struggled with focusing on content that I think is important. However, I need to start looking at topics that you think is important. So if I prepare the news coverage for the day, what I did in the past was I would look at my feed and I would pick out the news item that stood out to me in my feed. What I did today was I looked at the trending news topics for today, which is outside of my feed. And that's why I still landed on SNAP benefits and the China trade deal. I looked at the reaction of the politicians on SNAP benefits and how their reactions differed. And then I threw in the Tim Pool report on SNAP benefits. So I'm trying to widen the topic range, but still keep it contracted. The reason being, there are some topics that pop up and they are not within the range of topics that I can competently discuss with you. I don't want to spread misinformation or ignorance, and so I try to stay within topics that I can speak to or speak into. So that's the reason, or let me just say that's how these topics have been handled so far. All right. Right, so if you're watching still and you're just joining, okay, we've already covered the news items. We're having a real talk session in the chat. I'm having suggestions made on how the live stream can evolve going forward. This is a young channel. I'm the only one who operates everything here. I do the research. I do the setup for the live stream. And then I also present the live stream. At the end of it, I edit the videos into clips, which we also publish back onto the main channel and onto the backup channel. So it's still a one-man thing. I'm trying to make this work. So you'll have to bear with me, please. If at any time it appears like I dropped the ball. And believe me, I will drop the ball several times before we get this right. I will. But I appreciate you coming back again and again. And it's encouraging. I appreciate you sending your love by chatting, leaving comments in the videos. So I appreciate it deeply. It wouldn't make sense if I didn't have you guys communicating your thoughts on everything that's going on. So I would want to thank you for your support. So I think I've covered all of the observations. So yes, we will be making adjustments to tomorrow's content. We're going to stay at 4 stories, 4 topics. We're going to leave the interaction of the comments till the end of the comments. I still have reservations about the DVR bit, about having people stay with the live stream in real time. But I think you have a point to leave the DVR on to allow the audience catch up eventually. And if I don't handle or respond to the chat until the tail end of the presentation of the news and commentary, I think it gives enough room for people who posted their comments in the chat to catch up by the time I am actually responding to the comments in the chat. I think that might be something that we would notice. I'm just saying. Okay. All right. So we've gone on for over 2 hours now. This was a laid back live stream. Lots of engagement in the chat. Thank you so much for your engagement and for watching. Like I promised, tomorrow we're going to execute on the new direction, the new format. That also means that we're going to be limiting the live stream to run for an hour. So that means it's going to be a tight ship. It's going to be high octane. I have to pay attention to timing for each story. Yeah. And once the 10 minutes elapses for that story, I move on. All right. So, and that's going to, I think that's going to help the structure and the reception of the channel. Now, feel free to leave more suggestions in the chat or in the comment section. I appreciate you so much for caring about the direction of the channel and giving me these suggestions. I totally appreciate it. Now, for the balance of the live stream, I'm going to be doing some experimentation. I have to leave the stream on. I need to test the live feature. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to unlist the live stream on the YouTube side. I will unlist it. Those of you who are still online will still have the ability to stay online and to chat with me. So you don't have anything to fear. But what I will be doing is I'm going to be testing out some additional things on the software here, because if we're going to make these changes, I have to start now to begin to implement them. So I'm going to start working on these changes. You can still see me, you can still engage in the chat if you're connected to the live stream. So essentially, the news portion, the chat portion. We've ended the live stream, but you can still talk with me. Where just consider me someone you're hanging out with. All right, so we're just hanging out. I'm that guy you're listening to while you're doing work. You're working on your tasks at the office. I'm not going to be talking much. I'm just going to be here testing out some of the features. I got the paid version. I got the paid version of Restream. No, not Restream, of Streamlabs. I did that in order to be able to get some of these additional features going. And if you have any questions about creating content, live streaming, or anything else that interests you, let me know. Again, I've said this already. Consider subscribing to the channel. Consider supporting us with a donation. If you're watching from a platform that hasn't been monetized, consider using the link in the description of this video. I am going to post the donation link in the chat. I'm going to post the donation link in the chat. I hope you will consider donating to the channel. Like I just got through saying in the session where I basically spoke to everyone. This is a young channel, is a new channel. We don't make I don't make enough to even pay for the subscriptions that I have to use to kind of make all of this work. So this is me just saying, look, we need help. And if you feel like the content we're creating is healthy, we're not raising your blood pressure. Okay, we're not raising your blood pressure. Please consider supporting us. If you have questions about live streaming, put them in the chat. Now, I'm going to look at, let me see if I have anything on the backup channel. I'm not sure if I have anything on the backup channel. All right, so the backup channel has nothing in the chat. Okay, so the backup channel is the Crossroads channel. If you're wondering if you're on the backup channel, that is the backup channel. I am looking at the chat and then I'm going to be posting the link over there. So if you want to, you can support us using the link just posted in the chat of the backup channel. All right, now I'm still here. I'm open to hearing your suggestions. I'm going to be listening to I'm going to be reading out your suggestions while I do some back-end work. I'm doing back-end work right now to try to make this make it possible for us to do some of the things that we already discussed that we're going to be doing on the channel. Liking, subscribing, sharing the video or the live stream helps us to reach more people. Engaging in the chat drives more people to see the content. Okay, now how does it drive people to see the content? YouTube assumes that the engagement shows that the content is valuable, and so it pushes it out to more people. That's the way it works. So when you share the video, it helps us to reach more people. That's the way this all works. So when I put in, and then when you like the video, it also sends a signal to YouTube to say this video is valuable to someone. Look for someone like them and send the video to those people. So that's how it all works. I know that many of us are busy, and whenever we're watching a live stream, most of us aren't digital natives. We didn't grow up on the internet. We grew up with with rotary phones. You know those phones that you'd rotate to dial the numbers? That's what we grew up on. We grew up watching Scooby-Doo, you know, the original Scooby-Doo, not the woke version that we see on the screen. We played outside. We played outside. That's who we are. And we're not digital natives. So whenever someone says like the video, share the video, we're not used to it. And that's the demographic that I happen to be talking to. Those of us that aren't digital natives. So I have to keep repeating these calls to action because most of us need to be reminded. All right, so if you want to ask me questions outside of the news, you can go ahead and post those questions in the chat. I'm monitoring the two YouTube channels. I'm monitoring Kick and Twitch as well. I'm not too sure about Rumble yet, so I'm not paying attention to Rumble. But if I see that there's enough engagement on Rumble, then I'll pull Rumble into the conversations as well. So let me know your thoughts. If there's anything else that you want to discuss. Right now, I'm just messing with my production interface. I am trying to see the best way. Let's see if I'm doing this right. Oops, wrong. All right, so I'm trying to add a call to action for super chats. Okay, kind of makes sense. Okay. That doesn't make sense. Okay, that didn't make any sense. Yeah, so guys, just let me know if you have any questions. I am open to answering your questions. I'm open to answering your questions. What? That was weird. That was weird. Okay. Okay. Right. So, if you join the membership, you have access to some of the tutorial content that I have for people who want to learn how to start creating content on YouTube. I recorded some videos a couple of months back. You will have access to those videos as well. So consider that as a bonus for people who become members. We also are going to be opening up the call-in segment. Call-in segments will be active only for people who are members. The reason we're opening it only to members is we need to filter out people who aren't calling in to get the channel demonetized or taken off air. We have to be careful. We have to create a filter, and the only way to have access to it is to be in the membership, because it shows that you are committed to the channel and that you want the best for the channel. You're not there to nuke the channel from orbit because we gave you the chance to come on and you raise a topic that essentially gets us taken down. I just got through the last few minutes spilling my guts on how important the channel paying for itself is to me. It would be foolish of me to expose the channel to demonetization by opening up the call-in segment to just anyone. We had some people join the live stream weeks ago who, I think it was last week, who basically didn't like the content, and they wanted to express themselves. If those people had access to the call-in section, they would have derailed the entire episode and possibly done something to call the existence of the channel into question on the YouTube side. So that's why we've reserved it only for members. It's not like we're gatekeeping, but we essentially want to be sure that the right people are coming on to call, and we're always fine-tuning the channel. We're always looking for ways to make the channel the best form that it can possibly be. I want to do watch parties eventually for the membership section. The watch parties would include maybe long form speeches and other experiences that may not be conducive to generic viewers on the live stream. So essentially what I'm doing here is building a streaming experience for the audience, and there's the general streaming experience for regular people, and then there's a streaming experience for the members that is totally different. Let me ask a question. Do you want me to do movie reviews as well as part of the broadcast? That's something that I've been thinking of doing. I enjoy watching movies. I enjoy watching shows. I'm not a professional movie critic, but I do enjoy talking about things that I like about movies and things I don't like. So if you want me to either review movies or include other people's movie reviews, let me know. Now, if I attempted to do other people's movie reviews, most of those reviews would not fit into the 10-minute time block. So I might leave that for the members only live streams. I'm just thinking out loud, so please bear with me. I'm just thinking out loud. Do you like or do you want to see movie reviews? Let me know. Now, the live stream is unlisted on the YouTube side. So if you still want to bring anyone into the live stream, you can copy the link and share it with someone you know if you want them to watch the live stream. Well, this is going to be a long live stream if I continue at this. So I'm going to be ending soon. I'll be ending in about 5 or 10 minutes. I just wanted to test something with the pinned comments. Okay. If I try this for a minute or so, I will have to end the live stream and continue this experiment later, because I don't want to keep you guys waiting. I don't want to keep you waiting. Anyway, as soon as I end the live stream, I'm just going to go into the editor on the YouTube side and just chop out this last bit. I don't want the live stream to be an issue. So it might turn out that what I'm trying to do isn't compatible with the Macintosh. All right, let me look for something here. This is interesting. All right, let's see. Do we have alerts and widgets? Let's see. Is it active? Come in. No, I'm not. I'm trying to fix something. What do you need? You're bored. Okay, so you're crocheting, aren't you? Why aren't you crocheting? Huh? You don't want to, so you don't want to crochet anymore. And you can watch videos on crocheting to get more ideas, I guess. Yeah, you could do that. All right, guys, I'm going to be going offline right now. I may just have to do a private live stream for myself to test this. This is getting crazy, and I don't want you guys to just get stuck watching someone floundering. All right, I love you guys. I'll see you on the next one, and thank you so much for the comments and the suggestions. They're valuable, and I appreciate them so much. Okay, I'll see you soon. Bye, and God bless you. Whoa, okay, Lisa Walters, thank you for subscribing. I didn't want to leave without saying thank you. Lisa Walters subscribed. Amazing. I appreciate your subscription, and I hope you'll stick around. And I'm looking forward to having you in the chat. All right. When you subscribe, please consider engaging in the chat. All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for being a member of the community. Thank you so much, Lisa. All right. I'll see you on the next one. God bless you.